My project for Penn is called Mainline Mama. It will be a memoir based on me raising children with an incarcerated parent spanning 20 years and just starting a conversation about the complexities of family and raising children while trying to navigate the prison industrial complex. What inspires me to write is women like me, other women like me who have historically not had a voice. And I hope that my project sheds light on motherhood and how that looks for different women, especially women of color.
My name is Naja Eisenberg. My project is about the competing visions for New York that are emerging in this moment in which the city is saying that they're going to close Rikers Island jail. The city plan involves building 4 new, what they're calling community integrated jails. And my project looks at what abolitionist visions for New York are emerging in that context. So what a New York without jails could be like. I think for me, writing really has been a way to come into a sense of self. For someone who identifies as trans and gender nonconforming, I often feel like my sense of who I am doesn't align with how I'm perceived in the world. And that's an experience that's really hard to live with and move through the world carrying.
My name is Mitchell Jackson, professor at NYU. I teach in liberal studies. I'm also a novelist and a nonfiction writer. Writing has changed my life. I mean, I grew up in Northeast Portland. You know, I ended up in prison for a little while, but I mean, I'm a professor at NYU. I had no idea that I would ever be in New York. I had no idea that I would write a novel, travel the world. So I think really it's provided me a whole other life, and one that I didn't even know existed when I was a child.
From the time that I learned how to write, I was writing in journals. So I think I understand myself and the world around me through writing. I try to get answers to questions through writing. I like to discover through writing. Writing also is therapy and recreation for me. I enjoy reading. It's one of my favorite things to do. So it's pleasure, it's work, it's therapy, it's everything. My name is Beth Shelburne. I'm from Birmingham, Alabama. My project for the Penn Fellowship is a creative nonfiction journalism endeavor called The Castaways. I hope readers will ask themselves, who is a violent offender? What is a violent offense? Who gets to decide that? How long does it apply to a human being? And to really think critically about extreme sentences that mean the wholesale disposal of a free life.
I got 2 children, you know. I like to think my sons motivate me to write, but they create the sort of space that I'm trying to fill in the gaps for, right? So like, my sons don't make me think about prison, they don't make me write about prison, but my sons and my wife, my community makes me want to write in a way that addresses how so many people who have similar situations that I do, similar situations as me, aren't able to enter into society and live in society and thrive in society in the same way. Yeah, my name is Reginald Dwayne Betts. My project is a one-man show called Felon. What the one-man show is me trying to tell one story and make an argument about the ways in which felon is inadequate to describe anybody, but the ways in which it's pervasive to describe people who have spent time in prison.
I remember like always being a reader and being like in jail reading, outside reading, sneaking into the public library and like hiding and reading all the time, and it helped to kind of give me a direction to go. And like the past few years I've just been following that, and like I feel like I push a door a little bit and it opens, and I write more, and the more I write and the more I put out there, the more response and feedback I get, and it's like just feels really good. At the risk of sounding corny, it's like I have a purpose. My name is David Sanchez. I'm a MFA student at the University of Miami.
Hey, I'm David Heska Wambly-Wyden. I'm Sicangu Lakota. I'm an enrolled member of the Sicangu Lakota Nation. Writing has impacted my life in so many ways. I grew up in pretty much extreme poverty in Denver, Colorado, and I'm a first-generation college student. Nobody in my family ever went to college. They didn't know anything about it. And so education and writing is a way for our people to lift ourselves out of this poverty. It's a way for us to tell our stories on our own terms. And so really, that's what has inspired me.
Well, part of the work that I do is sort of going into those places where people are often invisible. So I write about women of color. I write about women of color as they experience surveillance and punishment. And I do that because I think women of color are often made invisible when we're talking particularly about racial justice, or when we're talking about mass incarceration, criminalization, or surveillance. And so I want to lift up the stories of women generally, but Black women in particular, to resist that invisibility, to tell their stories because they matter, right? Black women's voices matter, and writing can contest that invisibility and better include them in conversations about solutions. My name is Priscilla Ochen. I am a professor of law at Loyola Law School in Los Angeles, and my project explores the impact of probation and parole on formerly incarcerated women.
I think it was Shrikant Reddy in his book Voyager. He said to exercise his heart, he would complain about love. And to me, I think that's really important because, like, okay, it reminds me that I can kind of have some sort of sovereignty within myself in a place where I'm not really meant to, in a lot of senses.